Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Corinthian, but everyone calls me Rinn. In today's video, we're getting into everything soft glam, okay? I'm showing you guys all my tips, tricks, all my techniques on how I accomplish this flawless face. If you're interested in seeing any of that, or you're interested in learning some new techniques, girl, keep on watching. Okay, so to begin with, I love when my brows just look natural and fluffy, and to accomplish that look, what I do is just take a little bit of lash glue on any type of spoolie, and I just brush my hairs up like so, and I push them with my fingers. And the pushing with your finger technique changed my life, okay, because it literally ensures that those brows are going to stay right where you put them. As you guys can see, I have a more fuller brow. I don't need to fill it in very much, but I do fill in the front, you know, the sparse ends, the top, you know, just shape that brow, honey. And the thing with your brows is you don't want to be heavy-handed, okay? You just want to fill in what you need to fill in, because a natural brow is a better brow. You don't want your brows to look too harsh or, you know, just too bold. Okay, maybe you do, but over here, I don't. So I just go in with a light hand. Of carving out my brows, and the way I do it now is to use concealer on the bottom and then foundation on the top, and I've just found that that gives me more of a flawless, you know, effortless finish with my brow. So I do like to take this angled brush, as you guys can see. This brush is most of the work for you, honestly, because of how the brush is shaped and how flat it is. I just angle it and drag the concealer like so, and like I said, it does most of the work for you just because of how it's shaped. Moving right along, what I like to do is pretty much just take whatever concealer I use under my brow, I drag that down and kind of just pat it into place using that as my primer. Just for me, I love this method. I feel like it kind of lessens the products I have to use, and it works. Moving right along, for my eyeshadow with my everyday soft glams, I like to take bronzers. So my bronzer of choice today is going to be the Morphe Glam Glow bronzer in the shade Leader and in the shade Trailblazer, and I'm just going to mix these together, and I feel like they give me such a pretty, like, brownish bronzy color. And I just pretty much pack this all over my lid and just blend it to make it look flawless. And the reason why I use bronzer is because I feel like it's more of that effortless, soft glam look. So I personally like to go in with bronzer. You pretty much just pack on the color and build it to your liking and blend it out. You want to make sure that you're blending it out, girl, because you want this to be flawless. Putting on lashes on camera because it's just always like it be a hassle. When I do it on my own, I don't have that much difficulty, but the moment I get in front of the camera, it's just a mess. So my little technique with applying lashes is to apply 2 layers of lash glue onto the lash, and then I take it and just place it directly in the middle of my lash. And once that's attached, it's so much easier to just like position the rest of the lash. Yeah, that's my technique. As y'all can see in the video, I was really struggling, but yeah, that's my technique on how I do it. I like to look very radiant and just, you know, flawless, and I feel like the perfect primer to accomplish that look is this Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer, and this is a hydrating primer, so I would suggest if you have oily skin to probably stay away from this primer. Let's just pat the primer all over my face like so. Yeah, as you guys can see what it's doing to the skin, just making the skin look very, very hydrated and, you know, ready to get all that makeup on it. Okay, moving right along, as I told you guys before, I love using foundation as my top concealer. I just feel like it looks so flawless. As you guys can see, like my brows don't have that harsh like highlighted look. Okay, it's only highlighted on the bottom. So yeah, I use a foundation, whatever foundation I'm gonna be using for the day. Today that foundation is the NARS Radiant foundation in D3. As I carve out my brows, I just begin to spread that foundation all over my face. And the reason I do it this way is because I like to just get an even layer of foundation all over and then allow it a second to dry down. That way, when I go in to blend it, the foundation kind of goes where I want it to go. And I always use a tapping motions, guys. I feel like that's a very important part to getting a flawless face. If you swipe, you're gonna have like brush streaks all over your face, and that ain't cute, okay? So just, you know, tap that foundation everywhere. Over the last few months, I feel like my techniques have changed drastically. And one of my favorites that I've added is contouring before I highlight. And the reason I do this is because when you contour before you highlight, if you make any mistakes, okay girl, you could go in and clean it up with that concealer. So that's why I personally like to contour before I highlight, and I just feel like it's easier to blend it you know, nicely before you go in with that highlight, because then sometimes the product just mixes together when you don't really want it to. So yeah, I like to contour before I highlight. And it's pretty much the same deal here. Just tap your product. You never want to swipe your product. It just ends up being a mess. I'm going to be using the same concealer brush that I used to carve out my brows. And then for my concealer, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer, and it's in the shade 145. And what I like to do is just focus the product like here, okay? I found that when I was dragging out my concealer to like here, it was also dragging my face down. With highlighting, you want to keep it in the center of your face, okay? Because that's what you want to be highlighted, and it helps with, you know, emphasizing that snatched look. So yeah, I pretty much keep the concealer here under my eye, and then a little bit to clean up that eyeshadow, also lifting my face with creating this like slanted line effect right there. And then you know, down the bridge of your nose, your forehead, your cupid's bow, your chin, highlight those areas as well. I do like to give my concealer a second to dry down because the product gets tacky and it goes exactly where I want it to go, okay? I can't stress this enough. Like, letting your concealer dry is a game changer. And now that I've allowed my concealer to dry down for a few seconds, I would say like 30 seconds to a minute. That's how long I at least let it dry down. I go in and blend it with a brush. I know some people prefer a sponge, but there's just something about this Morphe brush. This is the Morphe M335 brush. It's amazing, okay? It gets the job done when trying to blend your concealer. So I just take this brush and kind of tap that tacky concealer into place. And as you guys can see, the coverage, like, look at my face right now. Look at that coverage. Look how flawless it looks. Like, no creasing, no none of that. And the combo between, you know, letting the concealer dry down and using this brush, I promise your concealer will be flawless. For the flawless summer look, I feel like having a little tiny bit of a brighter concealer just completes the look. So to brighten up my under eye, I'm gonna go in with the Tarte Shade Tape Concealer, and this is in the shade Tan Deep Sand. And I'm just going to apply a little bit like directly under my eye, and same kind of vibe. I'm gonna let it dry down for a second, and then I'm gonna go ahead and blend it out. So because this is a brighter concealer, I just want to keep it focused like directly under my eye. So after it's tacky, I just blend, like focusing the product like all right here. And I don't know if you guys can see, but that's why right here just looks like lifted and very flawless. Okay, so for setting powder, I'm going to go in with the Laura Mercier setting powder in the shade Honey. I love this setting powder. Like, this is my girl, okay? This is my girl, and I honestly don't know what I would do without her, okay? So I just take some of the setting powder onto the same brush I used to blend out my concealer. And I tap off the excess setting powder and I press that powder into my skin. And again, this just helps with making your face look lifted, making your under eyes look like extremely flawless, and, you know, avoids like that creasing, okay? This method will change your life, okay? Because you won't have any creasing. Like, look at my under eye. There's no creases, girl. So yeah, I'm just gonna use this to set my chin, my cupid's bow, my forehead, my nose, the side of my nose, and of course my under eye. Okay, so I personally am not a big fan of setting your contour with a contour shade. Just for, I don't know, I feel like it's just a personal preference. I like to go ahead and set that contour shade with a bronzer because the bronzer brings the warmth back to your face. As you guys can see, I already have really high cheekbones and my facial structure is pretty like defined. So with that said, I don't want to contour my face too much. I just go back in with the Morphe bronzer and the shade Leader, and I just set that contour. And as you guys can see, it's just giving me that flawless, like very bronzy, hydrated look, and that's what I'm going for this summer. I do like to go back in with my foundation brush and officially like really just set that powder into the skin. I feel like this really contributes to this flawless base. So I pretty much just do this all over my face, make sure everything's well blended with this foundation brush. I feel like this foundation brush acts as a corrector in a sense. Like if you mess up anything, if you feel like anything's a little too harsh, you can just go back in with this foundation brush. And y'all, okay, for so long I did not wear blush, but since I started wearing blush, I've never gone back, okay? Blush just elevates your makeup, okay? It takes your makeup from a 0 to 100 real quick, okay? Like, if you're not wearing blush, then honey, what are you doing? So I'm going to be using the Juvia's Place Saharan Blush Volume 1 palette. And I'm pretty much going to be mixing 3 shades together. I'm going to be mixing the pink shade, Toby, and the shade Above Toby. And I'm just going to mix them together. And it just gives me this really, really pinky but orange blush. Yeah, girl, it's just a hitter, so... I used to apply my blush right here, but I feel like that drags your face down as well, okay? And I just always want to look snatched, so I don't want to do anything that's going to drag my face down. So I take my blush and apply it to, like, right here, like on the apples, not on the apples of my cheek, but y'all see, like right here. This is where I apply it at because I just feel like it lifts your face even more. Okay, to set this masterpiece in place, I do like to go in with my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. And I just feel like this setting mist melts all the products together and just, you know, really adds to that flawless finish. So, yeah, I just mist this all over my face. So when this does become a little tacky, I like to go in with my setting powder and my Morphe M335 brush. And I like to take just a little bit of setting powder onto my brush and press the setting powder and the setting spray into my skin. And again, y'all, like, this technique just, it really emphasizes this flawless under eye. Like, I want my under eyes to look like smooth like butter. So, yeah. It's something about this technique that really, it steps the girl up, okay? With a really tiny flat brush, I like to go ahead and take my Black Radiance foundation stick in the shade Chocolate Dip. And I just like to use that to line my lips. And I personally like to overline my lips. I feel like it emphasizes the lips' natural shape. And it just makes your lips look mad, juicy, and luscious, okay? So, yeah, I love overlining my lips. For our gloss today, we're going to be using this Milani Plump It Up gloss. And this is in the shade Champagne. I love this because it's a plumping gloss. So it adds to, you know, that sexy full lip look. And I love the color. Like, I feel like the color is super pretty and perfect for a soft glam look. Okay guys, this is pretty much the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed Soft Glam 101. If you guys would like to see more videos like this, give my video a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comment section what videos you guys want to see next, and y'all know I'll come through. Okay? All right, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.